All right. I think I'm live. Just check that I have sound, that all of the technical things are working. Let me know if you join me, if you can hear me. I like how my eyes are. Okay, cool. Good. Let's see here. Refresh. See if I can see me. So once you're here, please give me an emoji or say hi in the chat. I love for these lives to be a conversation back and forth. It feels so much more in the divine feminine. So let me know if you're here. Like I said, in the chat, you can say hi. Or you can leave an emoji. I love emojis. Okay, I think everything looks like it's going. I don't see my comments. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Beautiful. Amazing. Sweet. All right. So most of you know that I guide women into their potential as healers, as goddesses, as divine feminine leaders, whether that's in your family or with your clients in all areas of life. And anyone who is around me transforms, like this blaring light of awareness, something that's taken me a long time to be okay with, and to be responsible with, right? So it's my joy and honor to share the deep healing secrets and ancient ways that have served and changed my life during this divine feminine initiation and certification journey. So it is time for us to rise. It's time for us to heal ourselves, our ancestors, and our planet. And it begins with being in right relationship with ourselves and maintaining a potent, vibrant frequency, which is not necessarily an easy thing to do. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Oh, hi, Nene. Yay. How do I heart this? There we go. Sweet. Hi, Kel. So lovely to see you. Goddesses. Oh, amazing. This is my first live, I think, on a Saturday. So I'm hoping more of our sisters can join in and share with this in this beautiful energy of 1111 portal. Oh, I still feel that energy. It was potent yesterday. So many things were coming through. I was like, whoa, okay. Oh, okay. So I would love to hear in the chat if there's anything that you realized or that came through for you yesterday or how you felt. I would love to know. Just to start us off with diving into this deep conversation. For me, it was like a little bit more clarity of purpose, right? Seeing where the next steps are and feeling empowered to take them. That was kind of the essence of the 1111 portal for me, was like, I don't have to wait. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Right? I have everything that I need now to move forward with my dreams and manifesting what I feel is one of the reasons that I came back here at this time, right? So along with helping women rise, it's a lot about sacred relationships and sacred sexuality and sex magic. So some of that stuff was coming through for me. I would love to hear anything that came through for you. So one of the things that I wanted to share during this live is one of the basis energetic things for me, which I'll share in a second. I'm going to read this comment. The power of the body. This is what Nene says. How it invokes the ancestors, how it translates prayer into physical and sends it to the cosmos. Yes. Such a powerful weekend we had last weekend. Whew. Yeah, and the power of prayer invoked in dance, right? That was something we were talking about, is how any prayer we have, we can dance it. So I've been dancing with my shadow for the last 2 years, dancing with shadow. Sometimes I don't know what I'm dancing with because it's the shadow, and sometimes it's revealed through the dance or through the prayer. But this is high priestess switchy shit. I mean, like, you think about, okay, I want to manifest this thing, or I want to reveal to myself what is getting in my way. I'm going to dance with my shadow. I'm going to dance in this prayer of like, reveal to me, dark goddess, this side of me. And this is powerful stuff. So thank you, Naomi, for sharing, because it's something that I am starting to experiment with, is like dancing my prayers to invoke them. So yeah, really, really powerful. And all of this, one of the gifts that yes, exactly. The body does show you your resistance in the movement. Oh, I love that. Yeah. And it's taken years for me to be able to go anywhere in public and like dance my heart out. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. It takes practice, and it helps when you have a sister or a community where you feel safe in that container for a while before it's like, I'm going to dance and sing to my car and not care if anyone says anything. Like, that's the type of frequency I've been in. It's like, okay, like I'm actually at this potent, awesome frequency, so I'm going to continue to sing and dance. And here I am singing and dancing. And it's like, wow, Thursday morning is so beautiful. So some of you know, I teach at my son's school, which is a Waldorf school. And so I woke him up on Thursday morning with song, because in the Waldorf education, here's a tip for anyone. When you wake up children, first you wake them up with light. So if you can bring light into the room, you see if that will wake them up. That's a gentle way to wake up. That's the natural way we wake up, right? Second is with sound, with song, with instruments, with music. So we have a little, I forget what it's called, but it's like a xylophone, basically. You play the keys, or we have the lyre, which is kind of like a little harp thing. So we can use that to wake up the children, or we sing. And so Thursday morning, I walk into Tanzin's room. It's time for him to get up for school. And I'm singing, wake up, Tanzin. Wake up, Tanzin. Wake up, Tanzin. It's time to get ready for school. And I sang it 3 times and he woke up. I had already done the light. And I was like, wow, this is actually how I'm parenting. Like, this is amazing. So just a little brag / gem there for you all, anyone with children or working with children. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little secret that I didn't know about, and that is sneaking its way from my work into my life, which I appreciate. Okay, so core teaching here. One of the things that is a requirement, I mean, I would like to make it a requirement for all of my friends, but then I would be a bitch. So I'm not going to do that. However, for anyone that works with me, any clients joining the spiritual community, joining the certification, going on retreat, and anyone that, I think everyone should do this, but obviously, at least if you're going to be in this space with me, this is what I ask, and this is what I desire, is that you go through a spiritual cleanse of forgiveness. And I have that as a PDF. I will put it in the chat now, the link in the chat. Let me just share. I know, Kel, you have it because I sent it to you in an email this week. Anyone with the link? Okay, good. Copy. Now let me just find the chat. Oh, thank you for commenting. What does a high priestess look like to you? How do you embody the energy? Great question. I think singing and dancing is a huge part of being a high priestess. Having this sacred space, having the altar, and bringing the star consciousness and the third eye to the earth at the altar and surrendering. I think so. Every time that I've gone into these channeling modes, Naomi, and things have been coming through, I feel this overwhelming, like, bow, surrender. Like, it feels so powerful. And I'm a human, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is all this energy? What are all these messages? How do I understand this? And as someone who's stepping into this priestess role very humbly and very aware, I feel like surrender to what the universe is conspiring, to what the Great Mother is conspiring, to what the Dharma is, like what is happening through me. Like it's not me. And I feel like that's a huge part for me of being a priestess, is that surrendering, the knowing that it's so much bigger and grander than me, and it's coming through me, and how grateful and honored I am at that. And I think the womb, right? This womb wisdom is powerful. And as priestesses, we know the magic of the ancestors. We know the magic of the earth. We know the magic of our blood. That's like those things come. I hope I hope that resonates. Thanks for asking the question. And I love the questions. So this really is the only way it could actually be a transmission is if it's something that is a back and forth. You asking me asking you. So thank you. And please ask away. Any questions are welcome. All right. So the forgiveness cleanse, I put that in the chat. Energetically, if you don't forgive yourself and others in an energetic way, in an experiential way, which feels like freedom, it feels like a release, like a huge release and freedom when you do it. I've done it a couple times. I still continue to do the forgiveness cleanse because life keeps happening. The days keep going. Time is moving, right? And time is moving circularly. Okay, that is masculine patriarchal BS. Okay, time is a wheel. It's a circle. It's ebbing and flowing. It's not like a line. That's a really helpful perspective when you're starting to tap into your own magic and your psychic abilities and these 5D and beyond frequencies. So forgiveness, I believe, sets this foundation, this stage. If you can deeply forgive yourself and others, and going through this process in this PDF that I shared, like, this is the way, as Star Wars would say, this is the way. If you do that, you will feel the freedom. You will feel an energetic release and then expansion. And I feel like that's necessary in order to progress in your spiritual evolution journey. Like you can't keep spiraling up without that forgiveness piece. So that's one of the huge core teachings and gifts that I wanted to give you all during this live. And it's such a beautiful time to do it. Like the holidays, going into the winter solstice, being around the people that you might feel like you still need to forgive, right? Great time to do the forgiveness practice. I like doing it in December, starting at December 1st. I think I've done that the last 4 years. So how would you say the high priestess shows up with herself, community, family, relationships? Well, it's a big question. What is one organic way that a woman can identify she's in alignment with the priestess within herself? Ooh, organic way. You have great answers to these questions too, love. Okay, let me read it again. How would you say the high priestess shows up with herself? The way that I show up with myself is being my own best friend and lover, is allowing and nurturing my inner voice to actually be 10,000 times louder than everyone else's. And that's hard. And that takes maintenance. But when that's happening, when people say things or do things and I can feel it kind of reflect out, I'm like, oh yes, I'm in that frequency of the high priestess. I'm in that space with her because these things aren't affecting me. It was funny. We went into a store yesterday and the vibration of the lady working there was, it was not a high frequency. It was very low. It was a low frequency. It was very, and it was like it wanted to suck you in and like bring the energy down. And I noticed like me, my partner and Tanzin all just stayed, like, cause we were like really happy and vibing together and this 1111 portal, and we stayed in that frequency. And I think that's like one way to tell. Oh, hi, Soko. Welcome. I didn't know you were here. Okay. Family. How would you say High Priestess shows up for herself? So like going home for the holidays, talk about family. And the family, it's really easy to see all your old patterns, and it can be easy to fall into them. It has been for me in the past to revert back. And it takes a lot of personal time and space away from my family, or if I'm just with a lot of other people for an extended period of time. Like I have to get up early and meditate and pray. And I've been journaling as a practice I started every morning, pretty much every morning. I don't get every morning, but most mornings in September. I've been pretty consistent the last 3 months, 2 months, 2.5 months with journaling. And that helps me process my dreams, connect with the messages in my dreams, connect with my spirit, right? Similar as meditating, dancing. I usually try to do one dance, but that doesn't always happen. But I think that taking that sacred time, whatever you do in it, dancing, journaling, self-care, praying, meditating, taking that time when you're with family, I think that's really allowing you to stay in that High Priestess energy and know, and keeping that voice loud within yourself. So for me, for sure, starting to, whenever I go home with my family, I think it started a few years ago, but I just make sure I have time to me. Like I don't wake up and then go see what everyone's doing, because then I'll get whooshed away in whatever energy is happening. I have to center first, and that's helpful. So I hope that answers your question. What is one organic way women can identify if she's in alignment with Priestess in herself? One organic way. I would say it really goes to like, are you in those frequencies of like doubt, fear, and shame, or are you in those frequencies of love, abundance, alignment, and riches? But I would love to hear what you have to say about that. So good question. Soko and Cal, if you have any questions, please ask me. So forgiveness practice was one tip that I wanted to share. And it's powerful. I don't know, Soko, if you felt that yet, because you were doing the forgiveness practice. Good. I'm glad. Let me know if you have felt that there's an energetic release and shift with that. So I think another piece to this, you could say High Priestess, since we're on that train, I guess, is this harmony of masculine and feminine energy, right? So it's easy for me to lean more into one or the other, especially in the past, to being like, oh, I'm just in the flow, like this is how I feel, I'm just going to do this because this is how I feel. And that's very feminine, right? And I've also been in spaces in my life where it was like, I have to stick to the schedule and I have to go to work regardless of how I feel, and I have to X, Y, Z. And it was a little bit more masculine and analytical and like rigid. So finding that harmony to me is calendar integrity, like keeping your electronic calendar, or if you want paper, that's fine. But I think electronic is really helpful in this age, in this space and time. Putting the things down you want. Like yesterday I put in there, like play with Tanzin, because I wanted to make sure in the structure, in the masculine, that I had time to flow in my feminine nurturing and play with him. Even with business, with work, having the structure precedes evolution. And then while you're evolving, really leaning into the feminine of, is this resonating? How does this feel? Where am I at in my cycle? Where am I at with my emotions? Like, am I having a hot flash? Do I need to give myself a little space? Can I drink some coconut water or some aloe vera? So harmony of masculine and feminine energy, I think, is something that is very helpful, and at least to start thinking about it, because we can just go in the masculine and not rest, which is the feminine, or we can go because of other messages coming in and not reflect back into the intuitive, right? So having those in harmony, I think, is a huge huge piece to evolution and into stepping into the frequency to receive. Yeah, let me just make sure I'm not missing any comments here. Me too. Me too. Yeah. I hope you started the forgiveness practice. It's really powerful. Okay. So, and then another piece I wanted to share a little bit about is releasing patriarchal and religious BS. So this is like mother wound, sister wound, father wound, persecution wound, like feeling as though it's bad to be sexual. That would fall under this. That was a huge one for me in my journey. Like I was sexual. I was like very sensual, very curious about intimacy, you know, had boyfriends, like girlfriends, what, you know, like really curious about all this stuff. And it, even being bi, there was like things to release, like is it okay for me to like women? Like, you know, and that's patriarchal and religious bullshit. I mean, that stuff is, it's programmed into us. And so being able to be okay, to know that your sexuality is holy, your sexuality is holy and so beautiful. Like that is part of my message. I stand for sexuality being holy and living an erotic life. And erotic eros is not just about sex. That sex is a great example of eros and being enthralled with life. But if you think about tantra yoga, tantrikas, being a tantrika is diving into the intimacy of doing the dishes. It's diving into the cosmos of the mundane to have an erotic life, an outrageous loving life, to be an outrageous love, right? And some of you know I'm reading this book, Eros, The Return of something. I forget what the tagline is. It's in the other room because I read it every night, which is great, really getting through it. But it talks about ancient Hebrew mysticism, like if you know the Torah or Kabbalists or anything along those lines, it's in those veins. And it's this mystical, spiritual perspective of the Holy Grail and the cherubs and having an erotic life. And that in the Holy of Holies in Solomon's temple, that these cherubs are making love with each other. And it's because you can meet God there, right? This is why I love sex magic. It's not because I just love sex, which I do. And it's because of the divine. It's because of that third energy that comes in, the Horus or the divine, or depends on which ancient text you're looking at. But there's a third energy that comes in, right? Experiencing the divine. Oh, I love that. And it's, for me, in a loving sexual space, that's one of the easiest ways to access that energy, is to feel the divine. And best drug out there, totally the best high ever, way better than anything else you could do, is to be so in love with yourself, so in this space of loving the divine and in this erotic life. Didn't know I was going to talk about that. Hopefully that's helpful or touching your heart in some way. But I've always loved religion and spirituality and God, and you know, growing up and realizing, like, wait a second, why are the women being like cut out of this picture? Like, we're so magical and powerful, like we create life. Like, this doesn't make sense, you know. And learning and searching, learning about different religions and spiritual ideas, and releasing patriarchal and religious bullshit around sexuality, around women needing men or not being enough on their own. Now, I think everyone does better with community, for sure. I think it's great. And you know what I'm talking about. Oh, thanks for the hearts. I love hearts. Can I give myself hearts? Is that possible? No. I figured I'd try. Yeah, mad face. I know. It's really, this is why we came back. We came back, especially if you're in this vortex, then you are a woman stepping into your divine frequencies. And with that comes us healing ourselves, our ancestors, and future generations, and the planet. And a lot of that is like sitting there every morning and night. I unconditionally forgive and release my mom. I unconditionally forgive and release my sister. I unconditionally forgive and release my ex. I unconditionally forgive and release myself. I unconditionally forgive and release Neve. I unconditionally forgive and release, right? Doing the work, doing that work to get to this space where then it's easy, like the stuff I put in the description of this. It's easy to be feeling free, to feeling love, to being in the state of joy, to feeling empowered and confident and embodied in this sexual goddess energy, to magnetize to you, like divine feminine priestesses. It's all, we do all of this work. We do all the shamanic healing work to raise our frequency, to magnetize to us, not chase, not run out there, not try too hard, right? Divine feminine priestess energy it's here. And when it's solid here, it comes to us. So magnetizing, manifesting wealth, sacred relationships, intimacy, it comes to us. And we got to sit there and journal and forgive and, do all of the things. Okay, what else did I want to share about? Oh, yes. So know what you're talking about. Okay, good. Yes. Hi, Elizabeth. So nice to see you. Yeah, please feel free to ask any questions or comment about any of this stuff. I love it to be back and forth. I'm here surrendering. I don't really have that many notes. Whatever's coming through is great. So questions are appreciated in it, and really, yeah, I'm grateful for any of them. Even Naomi asking these hard questions, but I loved it. I loved it. It's good. Okay, so another part of getting to this beautiful spiritual high priestess space of surrender and channeling and being confident, having the courage, is facing the core wounds and limiting beliefs that they bring. So we get wounded, we have trauma, we have abuse, these things happen, and then all of a sudden we feel unlovable. We feel unworthy. We feel like our voice doesn't bless others. We don't know what to say. Well, what are the words how, we get into this space. There's these limiting beliefs. And if anyone's willing to be vulnerable and open, I would love for you to share in the chat some of your limiting beliefs. I have no problem sharing mine. I'm sure some of them are the same because we're human. Like, this is a beautiful part of the human journey, right? It's a collective of oneness. So as we heal, we inspire those around us to do the same. So facing core wounds is not easy, and it is what brings that manifestation, the abundance, the love, all of the things. So limiting beliefs can be, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, I don't have, who am I? Like, it's a lot of stuff around usually not feeling confident or empowered or embodied, right? These different core wounds. Like, so for me, I'll share one of mine while you all are thinking about if you want to share one of yours. I'm too emotional. Yes, that's a core wound. I'm too emotional. No, you're feminine. That's the beauty of the feminine. We have raging emotions that flow, right? So yeah, I'm too emotional. That's a good one. That's a core wound for sure. So pleased to have gotten over not loving my body. Yeah, not loving the body. That's a big one. You're like, right? That's hard. I didn't love my body either. I was like, oh, I'm so awkward and weird, for so long. I'm not beautiful. I totally thought I was funny looking for so long. Silly. We're all beautiful. Yeah. So still getting over who I am and why my mother said, yeah. Man, those mother wounds, right? So that's something we do in the Divine Feminine Initiation, is some deep mother healing work. I had to do it. I still sort of have to do it, right? I hang out with my mom. I love my mom, and those patterns or those beliefs or things will come up. And it's like, okay, I can release that. I can witness myself experiencing that and release it. So for me, one of them was, I'm wrong. Like, I'm bad. I'm bad and I'm wrong. I'm wrong for being sexual. I'm bad for flirting. Like, I'm a bad person. And I'm like one of the sweetest people I know. It's like so silly, but I seriously believed that I was doing the wrong thing all the time. It was wrong for me to be sexual. It was wrong for me to be an empowered woman. It was wrong for me to want to XYZ, right? That was a huge core wound for me. And it'll come up sometimes. I shared this in a couple lives ago, but I was at the airport and I accidentally left the water in my water bottle, and I went through and they were like, we can confiscate this, or you can, they like gave me all my options, and I felt wrong. And I was definitely sleep deprived because I had missed the flight and slept in a hotel. Anyway, so it doesn't help with emotions, right? When you're sleep deprived. I like broke down crying and I couldn't figure out why I was so upset. I'm like, why is this such a big deal to me? Why am I freaking out? Like, I'm in the airport by myself, like investigating. I realized that it hit that wound of, you're wrong. You're wrong for forgetting to dump out your water bottle. Once I said that, I was like, wow, that is bullshit. Like, really? I'm wrong because of my water bottle, because I forgot to dump out my water. I just went back around through security, dumped it, drank it or dumped it out, went back through. It was not a big deal. But it was an important lesson in remembering that core wound and really looking at it. Like, I'm not wrong. So anyway, that was one of mine. I'd love to hear. I'm not enough. Yeah, that one is, I think everyone has to transmute that one at some point. I literally put on a piece of paper, one of my sticky notes in the bathroom, I don't have time for I'm not enough. Like, the universe is using me to help women rise, to help couples experience deep sacred union in their relationships. Like, I don't have time. I don't got time to get in my own way. I don't have time to be perfect. Right? So those were things I had to release. For sure. Yeah, and some of it is our ancestors. Like, some of those core wounds really are things from past lives or from ancestors that we're still carrying. That's why I'm serious when I'm like, we have to heal ourselves and our ancestors so we can heal the planet. It's like, we signed up for a lot in this life, and that's great because women are coming together and not being so competitive anymore and being more collaborative. And that's what we need, because then we can help each other heal faster. So, according to my meditation teacher. Oh yeah. So I'm just going to like this comment. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot of things to do. And it's not an easy thing to move through these. Oh, my soul brother is calling. Interesting. I'll have to call him back. The core wounds and limiting beliefs. All right. I'll remember that when I talk to him. They might be, it's all connected. Yeah, so for me, like, there was so many limiting beliefs. I definitely felt unworthy. I didn't feel, because I felt wrong or evil or bad, I had a huge problem with worth, feeling worthy. And I think when I left my toxic relationship with no money and no plan, no career, basically, and a little baby, that was when a huge part of my healing journey began, because I was like, then I was seeing all of these patterns, and I spent time alone, not dating, and loving myself, doing all of the self-care, doing all of this deeper healing, doing the forgiveness practice. That was the first time I did the forgiveness practice, and really starting to step into this higher frequency. And it feels uncomfortable at first. It's a little weird, because those patterns and limiting beliefs are the ego. It's comfortable. It's the mind. It's what we know, right? The ego is like, do what you know and what's comfortable, which is why we can't stay in the mind layer. We have to go into the body. We have to go into the body. Have to. And this is the koshas, right? So the kosha, these 5 layers, Manomaya kosha is the mind. It's in the middle. And if we're stuck in the middle, we can't access. So if we go through the mind, energy, breath, body to the body, so any embodied practice, feeling the body and breathing, connects these three, then you can access intuition and bliss. This is what Ayurveda and yoga and ancient Indian culture teaches us, is these layers, these 5 layers. And through the mind, we can't access our own intuition and bliss, but through the body, we can. Pretty interesting, which is why I do the retreats on that. We can have our bullshit. I travel with my partner and forgets. Is it water? Yeah, I know, right? Yes. Yes, Elizabeth. I love that you put the little planet symbol emojis in there too. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. And a lot of the things we're healing collectively and together, right? Which is why I love sharing, even though it can be vulnerable to share, like, especially when I started coaching. Oh, you guys will like this story. Kel knows about this story, probably a little bit of it anyway. I didn't really have good boundaries. I was like, oh, I'm a coach and I'll coach all my friends and it'll be great. And I'll coach my parents and I'll help everyone do Ayurveda since it's healed me so much. And it came from a good place. Like, my intention was pure. And you can't coach your best friends. You can't, like, it's a tricky thing to do unless you have a lot of boundaries. And I didn't have a lot of boundaries. And I wasn't sure, like, how do I navigate being so loving and in this friend place, like, because I feel so much love and compassion and empathy, and still hold the seat of the teacher or of the guide or the facilitator, the space holder, right? So I didn't have boundaries before, and when I first became a coach, and that was hard. I started teaching my parents Ayurveda, and then all their relationship issues came up, and I was like, whoa, this is out of my league. I can't, this is not appropriate for me, so I taught them some habits, and then I was like, I'm out. You guys got to get a different person to work on that other stuff that came up, because that's a boundary. It's not a place for the daughter to do that. So I learned the hard way how to have boundaries. And I thought, oh, if you're in this loving, beautiful relationship with someone, then you shouldn't have any boundaries, right? Everything should just be like, no. One of the reasons my relationship is so healthy is because we have boundaries. I have limits. Okay. I have limits. And I'm like, okay, I'm reaching my capacity for being able to deeply listen to you. Right? If he's going on about something at work for so long, at a certain point, usually between 20 and 30 minutes, I'm like, okay, I can't, you're approaching a boundary, and I can't actually be in my heart and continue to listen to this. That's a boundary in a relationship. And it's so important. So learning how to have boundaries, increasing self-worth, starting to really love myself, like, those are huge parts of my journey. And I felt really, when I first started teaching yoga in 2011, I felt like out of integrity. And it was because I didn't really love myself enough, or I didn't have enough of that self-worth. And so it took time. It took Ayurveda and living in self-love to really, like, get to that. Any questions about my journey or story? Because I'm definitely open to sharing. And then we're going to do, I hope everyone's still here, because we have a powerful invocation / prayer to do together. But I just wanted to make sure there's no other questions or comments or anything that you want to know. Like this, I set this time aside to just be here with whoever wanted to be here and to connect and share from my heart and give and receive. So, okay. I'm not seeing anything come through, but I know comments kind of take a moment. So while they're coming, while we're waiting for that to come through, I wanted to do shaking and energy swipes. Okay, so shaking is just shaking before we do this invocation. So you can just shake a little bit, everything. And then energy swipes, you go, these are so good. I do these in public a lot. Like as I'm going into, I don't know, the mall or anywhere where there's a lot of energy. Okay, so energy swipe, you go top of the arm, top, bottom, inside, outside. We're just releasing, cleansing the energy, and then with each leg, top, bottom, inside, outside, top, bottom, inside, outside. And what does it do? It connects you to your breath, connects you to your body. Just feel for a moment after you swipe. Hopefully you feel a little bit of clearness and energy. I love those. I do them, like I said, often. All right. So you can repeat after me or just listen. Totally up to you. And I'll attempt to go slow. I get kind of excited when I do these kinds of invocations because I start to feel so much energy. Okay. In this moment, I cast off all the shame, grief, and poison that has kept me from receiving. I am becoming one with potent, sacred, and holy abundance. I release with grace all cords, vows, contracts, and fear of others. With love, I clear every cell of my being, and I am set free from all entanglements from the past, present, and future now. I now invoke whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want it. I am a rich and divine creatrix. I return to the goddess. I return to the divine. I return to pleasure. I return to my sexuality. I return to my sensual essence. I return to conjuring. I return to birthing a new reality from my womb as I restore my cells and vibrate at the highest frequency of love. I return to my right for sacred abundance and holy femme power. I now manifest like a priestess with rapid grace. I resurrect into divine light. I resurrect into limitless receiving. I now release all lower frequencies with love, ease, and grace. I am now restored to radical, divine love and abundance. I am deeply supported by myself, life, and those I love because I am more than worthy. I am supported by my spirit guides, by my ancestors, and I'm deeply connected now to my intuitive power. I am clear. I am loved. I am sacred. I am now cherished because I cherish and honor myself. I now send everyone love and come home to the divine and magical love, abundance, radiance, presence, and faith. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is done. Every day, in every moment, anytime, you can step into that frequency. And it doesn't take that long. It's not that challenging. Say it. The more you say it, the more you bring it into your awareness, the more it affects your frequency. And then you're free and you're love and you're joy and you're empowered and you're confident and you're embodied in your goddess sexual energy. You magnetize, you conjure, you manifest, right? You are in divine abundance and love, in sacred relationship, in intimacy. So for intimacy in friendship, with family, in partnership, it starts with being vulnerable, right? So here on the slide, for me, it starts with being vulnerable, right? And sharing, and then we can be intimate. Then we can get into the juiciness. Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a journey for sure. I hope you love that invocation. Please let me know in the chat if that resonated for you. I could probably post it if you want. Just let me know. Yay, hearts, more hearts. I love hearts. It's all love. All right, some of you know this mantra, but maybe Elizabeth, you might not know it. Be love and love to be. It's one of the easiest go-to mantras. Be love, love to be. Be love, love to be. That really helps with loving the body, loving the self, and radiating that love out. Oh, Soko, I have that one written down. So I'll post it when I get off the live. I'll post it down so you don't have to watch it again and write it down. Yeah. Be love and love to be. So as you know, I'm doing the Divine Feminine Initiation. Some of you know about that. Love to talk to you if you're curious about that at all. But I also have some special things going on. So I wanted to share, let me see where I put this. Oh, here it is. Okay, so right now, for a limited time, because my mentor told me I have to stop, she was like, nope, can't do that anymore. So I only have 2 spots left for one-on-one coaching. So that's there if that's resonating for anyone. Then I also have 2 spots left with the 2K scholarship for the Divine Feminine Initiation. And then lastly, what I'm super excited to share, because it's not free, but there's no monetary exchange, right? The Divine Agreement. So I would love to offer you a 75-minute of Divine Feminine Healing Initiation journey, or a couples intimacy session, either of those 2 things. And then 2 days later, I will interview you on Zoom and you give me full permission to use the video in my marketing in any way that I choose. So I need some video testimonials for some of the things I'm creating. So I wanted to offer this Divine Feminine Healing Initiation journey, as well as a couples intimacy session. So if either of those interest you, you can send me a message, comment in the chat, or if you want to put in the chat 3 red hearts, then I can reach out to you in like a voice message and just say, hey, what were you interested in? And we can start to connect that way. So I'm excited about this. I'm really excited about it. The universe is bringing all of these things into alignment, and it feels so beautiful, and I want to share and give back. And then the other gift, I wish I had a partner. Neve's amazing. Oh, thanks, Soko. Yeah, it's been really interesting. So I'll share some of the gems, a little bit of just really, really quickly. There's this exercise that I do with couples. So I'll share this with you all. And this is like the type of intimacy thing, although we could go into sex magic or whatever we want in that session, in the 75-minute session or healing initiation. And this is great. If you have a partner, I highly recommend you doing this. I am going to be doing this today. I've done it before and I love it. Usually both of us end up crying. And it's vulnerable. Remember what I said about being vulnerable? You have to be vulnerable to increase intimacy. When you increase intimacy, you increase magic. When you increase the magic, you increase the rate at which that third presence of the divine enters into the space. Erotic, mystical life. Okay, I said it funny, but it's true. All right, so you write a list. I use this with my clients and for sacred relationship stuff. You write a list of 10 things that the other person does that makes you feel loved. And you have them write a list of 10 things that you do that make them feel loved. And then you read it to each other with eye contact, gazing into your eyes. So I love it when you make me coffee in the morning before I wake up and bring it to me in bed. Nobody's doing that for me, but man, I would love that. All right, so something like that. I love it when you give me back rubs at night. I feel loved when you do chores for me, whatever it is, And if you want to go a little deeper, think about the 5 love languages and pick a couple different types of things from that list. So like a quality time thing, or a gift giving thing, or an acts of service thing, or whatever. Anyway, hopefully you'll try that out. If you do, please send me like on Messenger, send me like a voice memo, because I shared that with you. It's really powerful. And I would love to know how it positively affects your relationship. Like I said, me and my partner, whenever we do it, we've done it, I think, twice. we totally end up crying. It just gets so intimate and beautiful. So that's another gift, bonus gift that came through. Yay. Yay for surrendering. All right. I love you all so much. And let me know if you want to connect. And I'll see you again in here soon. So exciting. Divine Feminine's rising. Love is vibrating out. Like, this is a beautiful time to be alive. Sing, dance, invoke. Love yourself. It's like all starts with being so in love with yourself that it starts to radiate out into your relationships and into life. 10 things. I love it when, yeah, like 10 things that they do that make you feel loved. So you're like, when my husband, when, I'll just say his name is Bob. I don't know. When Bob, whatever, when he does the dishes for me, that makes me feel loved. Or when he schedules a date for us and surprises me, or whatever it is, when he makes you come. I don't know. Could be anything. So yes. Love you. Mwah. I'll see you soon. Yes to coffee in bed. Yes. Yes to coffee in bed. My first tantric partner was the only person that's ever really done that. Brought me coffee in bed, and I thought it was so sweet. I was like, wow, not only are you worshiping me, now I'm getting coffee in bed. I was like, this is great. What was I, like 24? I had no idea what was going on, but it was great. All right. I love you all. I'll see you soon. Have a beautiful Saturday and rest of your weekend. Dance, sing, be love, and love to be.